Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vishodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vishnupada Brahmasri Gacharya Shtotra Sudhasri Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamsya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So what is that? I mean, the laptop something is
recording.
Okay, so we are seeing today the most famous, often quoted verse from Gita, 18.66. So I don't know whether you're projecting, but if you are, you can project 18.66. Anyway, everybody knows the verse, so it's not difficult to recite. Yeah, you projected?
Yes.
Okay. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchah. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma suchah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. I am reading only the first two paragraphs of the purport. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Purport. The Lord has described various kinds of knowledge and processes of religion: knowledge of Supreme Brahman, knowledge of Super Soul, knowledge of different types of orders and statuses of social life, knowledge of renounced order of life, knowledge of non-attachment, sense and mind control, meditation, etc. He has described in so many ways different types of religion. Now, in summarizing Bhagavad Gita, Lord says that Arjuna should give up all the processes that have been explained to him. He should simply surrender to Krishna. That surrender will save him from all kinds of sinful reactions, for the Lord personally promises to protect him. The 7th chapter, it was said that only one who has become free from sinful reactions can take to the worship of Lord Krishna. Thus, one may think that unless he is free from sinful reactions, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such doubts, here it is said that even if one is not free from sinful reactions, simply by the process of surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically freed. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender into him. Okay, so this is very, very, one of the most famous verses of the Bhagavad Gita, very often quoted. I'm sure all of you have heard this several times. But though it is often quoted, I would say it's often misunderstood as well, because, at the face of it, what is the verse saying? What is Krishna saying here? I mean, at the face of it, he's basically saying that give up everything and surrender to me. Now, what is that give up everything? Okay, so when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, right? Dharma means, so what is to be given up? Okay, and what exactly is to be done? So many times, the way we get confused about this verse is when we have not understood the entire Gita and why this verse has come over here. When we have not understood that, then we may feel that, everything that is said till now is not important. Okay, for example, see, till now Krishna has spoken so much in the whole Gita. Is all that to be given up? Okay, I mean, then the question will come here. Can you imagine somebody taking a 1-hour class, 50 minutes he talks something, and then in the last 59th minute he says, Abhi tak jo bhi bola, sab chhod do. Then the question is, why so much was said? Okay, so what is it to be given up? Is Karma Yoga to be given up? Is Arjuna supposed to give up his Kshatriya nature? What is to be given up? And what is that Sharanam? Okay, so for this, we have to really analyze this verse. And there are so many commentaries of Acharyas. In fact, Prabhupada, the 2 paragraphs I read are from 2 different commentaries. One is of Baladeva Vidyabhushan, one is of Ramanujacharya. So, what these Acharyas have said, we need to know about this, right? So, today, in whatever half an hour time we have, we will go into 4 different meanings of this verse. Completely different meanings from each other. And with that, we will try to understand what is being said here. Okay. So, the first meaning is this. When Krishna says Sarva Dharman Parityajya, so when Acharya, what he says is, he says Sarva Dharman Kurvana Parityajya. He says, ये जो सर्वधर्मान परित्यज्य जो भगवान ने बोला ना, वो धर्मान और परित्यज्य के बीच में एक शब्द डाल दो वहां पर, कुर्वान. कुर्वान मीन्स while doing all types of dharma, give up. Then the question is, what is to be given up? So he says you have to connect it to this whole chapter and to the whole Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so in the Bhagavad Gita, in this chapter specifically, if you recall last time when I came, I did speak about it, that Krishna is speaking about different types of tyaga. That's how this whole chapter began. Correct? Arjuna is asking in the beginning of this chapter, what is the difference between tyaga and sannyas? And I said, Krishna speaks about 3 types of tyaga. Tyaga means to give up. So what is to be given up? Okay. Kartritva buddhi tyaga. That is the first thing. That I am the doer. Okay. Why I am not the doer? Well, Paramatma is the main person. He is the doer. I am only his instrument. So if you remember, we discussed this elaborately from the Gita. How Krishna says there are 5 causes of action and Paramatma is one of them, and he is the most important. So I give an example also. It's like a king lifting a palki. 4 servants are lifting. But the 4 servants are lifting are not at all important. The king is lifting is important. Okay? And Krishna has repeatedly said this in the Gita earlier also. Nimitta matram bhavasavyasachin. Just be my instrument. Okay? So, that is what is to be given up. I am the doer. This concept. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaha miti manyate. Krishna says in 3.27. Give up the conception that you are the doer. That is the first thing. Second thing is mamata tyaga. That means this activity is for my benefit. This activity is for my pleasure. मेरे मजा के लिए मैं कर रहा हूँ ये. नहीं बाबा, you are not doing it for your pleasure. You are doing it for his pleasure. Anything from morning, even brushing our teeth, taking bath is also part of giving pleasure to him. Why? Because you are going to go and stand in front of the temple, in front of the deities. So when you go and stand, When the Lord looks at you, you should look clean and neat. Not that you're looking very dirty and your clothes are ekdam, unwashed and with lot of black patches all around. Right? If you remember, I gave the example. The king has appointed a servant to take care of birds. I gave that example. The servant is taking care of the birds not for his pleasure, not for the pleasure of the birds also, but for the pleasure of the king. Because once a month the king will come and see all the birds. That is mamata tyagam. And third is phala tyagam, which Krishna says from beginning of the Gita to the end. The fruit is not yours, give the fruit to me. Right? Yat karoshi yadasnasi yat juhosi dadasi yat tapassasi kaunteya tat kurushva madharpanam. फल आपका नहीं है, फल भगवान का है. From whatever you do. See, there is an action and there is a result of the action. Action is also for his pleasure. The result of the action is also for his pleasure. And the action is his. I am only an instrument. So, sarva dharman parityaja means sarva dharman kurvana parityaja. That means it is understood. So he says, ये बोलने का जरूरत नहीं था भगवान को कि भाई करना है आपको. So when Krishna says sarva dharman parityaja, he says what it means is sarva dharman kurvana parityaja. सब धर्म करते करते आपको छोड़ना है. क्या छोड़ना है? यही जो चीज जो पूरे गीता में भगवान ने इतना बार मार मार के बताया हमको. 100 times is emphasized these 3 types of tyagas. This is sarva dharman parityaja, right? So he gives an example. So the example is just like somebody may say sometimes that okay, henceforward some very advanced soul may say that for my eating, okay, I'm not at all, I just don't care what is there. So whatever comes, I will just take, right? So that means, see, somebody who is very, very greedy to eat nice things, he will have a lot of demand. I want pizza, pasta only, I want this, that, I want rabdi, malpua, this, that. But perhaps someone who is a very great soul, who is, whose consciousness is completely immersed in something, he may say that, I'm not at all interested in eating kind of very, very specific, choicey things. That means it's not that I have a big choice, I want this only. Whatever is there as prasad of the Lord, I'll just take. So that is also parityaja. He says, this Acharya says, that is also parityaja. So he says parityaja, when we say, it is of 2 types. Okay, so I'll just tell you the technical word. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. 1 second. It was a very important word. So I've got my laptop, I've got the small screen in which I'm looking at my notes. 1 second. Yeah. So he says, when we say parityaja, one way it means swarupa rupa. That means actually give up everything. Other is, I forgot the technical word, but it means you just take the essence of it. You understood? That means when you say give up something, like a great person says, I've given up interest in eating choicey food, it doesn't mean he's not eating at all. You understood? What it means is he's not so fussy about eating very delicious things. Whatever prasad comes, he will take. That doesn't mean he's not eating at all. So he says in that way you look at this verse. Sarvadharman parityaja doesn't mean you're literally giving up everything, because that doesn't make sense in the Gita context. Because Krishna has repeatedly emphasized tyaga and not sannyasa. Sannyasa means to actually give up and not do anything. But tyaga means to keep doing, but to do by giving up these 3 things. And if you see the whole Gita, that's what Krishna has been saying. So this is the explanation of this verse in connection with whatever has happened in the Gita till now. Are you understanding? Sarvadharman kurvana parityaja. 3 types of parityaja. 3 type of tyaga you have to do. Okay? And then mamekam sharanam vraja. Now why mamekam sharanam vraja? That means here now the understanding is very simple, right? So that means one has to do everything as a surrender to Krishna. That is mamekam sharanam. And Krishna is saying, I will take care of all your sinful actions which come while you do these things. See, this meaning is in connection with Arjuna's fear also. See, Arjuna is also fearful. Okay, you are saying that Sarvadharman Kurvana Parityaja, but I have to kill Bhishma Drona, no? I have to kill them, I have to shoot them. In the discharge of my occupation and duty, I have to do these things. Don't worry. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. While you are doing your things in this world, whatever mistakes you may do, right? You take bath, you're cleaning the room, you may kind of kill some small entities, correct? Anything we do, you are working in a job, some lies here and there, something. Somebody is doing business, he says something. I'm not making any profit for you, only all this, right? So Arjuna, he's going to kill Bhishma and Drona. So when you are going to do things, then only some sin will come, na? So this is in connection with the previous. If you actually don't do anything, sin only will not come. But now you're going to do everything, but you're going to do 3 types of tyaga, and you're going to surrender the result to Krishna. So Krishna is saying, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Don't worry, whatever mistakes happen in that, mokshayishyami. I will clean you from that. Ma sucha. This ma sucha is in connection with the initial sucha that Arjuna had. Sucha means what? Sochati, lamentation. What was Arjuna's lamentation? Are, how can I kill my grandfather and my teacher? You go back to Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter, 4th verse. How can I kill Bhishma and Drona? Correct. That thing. Ma sucha. Don't worry. Okay, so this is first meaning. Okay. Now, let's go to another meaning. This meaning is Baladev Vidyabhushan. This is in the second paragraph of this purport that we read. Sarva dharman parityaja. Now what it means is, see, iske pehle wala shlok kya tha? Krishna is saying, man mana bhav madbhakto madhyajimam namaskuru. Correct? Krishna is saying, always think of me, become my devotee. After hearing this, Arjuna thought, my God, how can I be such a pure devotee? Always thinking of Krishna. It is so difficult to be like that. Because I have so much sin from the past. Correct? And in the 7th chapter Bhagavad Gita, that's why, Prabhupada quotes 7th chapter in this second paragraph of this purport. Because in the 7th chapter, Krishna had said, Yesham tontogadam papam jananam punya karmanam te tonta moho dharmukto bhajante mam dadabrataha. Who can worship me continuously? Only one who is free from all sinful reactions. Only such a person can worship me. So Arjuna, after hearing Manmana, he's feeling, my God, I'm not at that level. I cannot continuously worship Krishna. So maybe Arjuna, so the commentary is, Arjuna thought maybe I have to do some prayaschitta karma to free from my, for every sin there is some prayaschitta karma. Na? So Arjuna thought in his mind that maybe I have to do some prayaschitta karma to free myself from my sins. So now Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityaja. Now here dharma is not Sarupa, actual. The Sarupa, that means here dharma is prayaschitta dharma. So Sarva dharman parityaja means give up all things of prayaschitta dharma. Don't think you have to do prayaschitta dharma and all that. Give it up. Don't have to do that. Mamekam sharanam braja. Just come to me. You understood? So this is a different meaning. Please remember, that is there in the second paragraph of this purport. It is actually from Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary. This particular paragraph that Prabhupada is talking. The Sarva dharma here is what? What is the dharma? Prayaschitta dharma. You don't have to do that. Mamekam sharanam braja. Just come to me. I will do the cleaning process for you. Okay, you just surrender into me. I will do the cleaning process. Do not fear. Here, what is the fear which is being addressed? See, in the previous explanation, the fear was, how can I kill Bhishma and Drona? Here the fear is, how can I do bhakti so nicely? Ma sucha, don't worry. If you come to me, don't have to do any other prayaschitta karma. You just come to me and surrender. I will clean you from everything. Do not fear. You understood this? It's a completely different explanation. There is a third explanation which is spoken by Vishwanath Chakravarti, Ramanuja, and even Prabhupada talks about it in the 4th paragraph of this purport. That understanding is this. Abhi do samajh mein aa gaya na sabko. Everybody understood 2 explanations. Okay. Now let's look at the third explanation. The third explanation is, and then we will summarize the whole thing also. So the third explanation is, after hearing all this, till Manmana Bhav Madbhakto Arjuna feels, my goodness, it is so difficult to practice all this yoga system. This Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, all these are very, very difficult. How can I do all this? Not just about bhakti, you understood? Everything is very difficult. From 3rd chapter, Krishna is talking about Karma Yoga. How difficult it is to do things in the world and not be attached to it. Is it easy? How difficult is Jnana Yoga to be focused the mind on only super soul, etc. How difficult is Ashtanga Yoga, control all the senses, Yama, Niyama, Prana, Asana, all these things. How difficult is Bhakti also? In one sense, Bhakti looks easy, but at the same time, to constantly think of Krishna. If you see, Krishna's expectation of Bhakti is also quite high. If you see 12.8 Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says, what Krishna said, constantly satatam. So how many times Krishna uses the word satatam, nityashaha, in 8th chapter and so many places, right? Ananya cheta satatam, yomam smarati nityashaha. Tasyaham sulabhapartha nityayuktasya yogina. Krishna is saying, Ananya cheta. Bhakti means to always think of Krishna. Not 1 second goes without thinking of Krishna. It's actually very difficult. It's not easy. I mean, for us, doing chanting only to think of Krishna is difficult. What is because when we are not doing that? We also want to just sit back and relax. Kuch nahi karna, kuch sochna nahi. Just sit like that, like a stone. We feel like that, right? Honestly. Do we feel it constantly we should think of Krishna? My God, very difficult. All the yoga processes are difficult only. So that is why Krishna is saying, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Don't worry. Okay, now I'll tell you what this meaning is. So this meaning, Ramanujacharya actually explained this meaning originally. Vishwanath Thakur explained it. Prabhupada also speaks about it. I'll tell you what this meaning is and how it should not be misunderstood. So the meaning here is, what all the acharyas have said is, Sarva Dharman Parityajya means, don't think you can achieve success from Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. It is very difficult for you. Mamekam Sharanam Braja. Just surrender to me. I will take care of everything. Do not fear. Here, do not fear is fearing the difficulty of all the yoga systems. Okay, just take do Sharanagati to me. That means come to me and cry, oh Lord, I am really incapable. मुझे कुछ नहीं होने वाला मेरे जीवन में. आप ही मेरे लिए कुछ करो तो होगा. That is their Sharanam here. You understood? Just raise your hand and say, मेरे से नहीं होगा बाबा ये सब बहुत कुछ. So then one may say, then Ramanujacharya has analyzed this in great detail, which Vishwanath also has spoken about. Then the question is, ये जो योगा सिस्टम अभी तक बताया करना है कि नहीं करना है? बराबर है ना? So he says the answer is करना है हमको सब कुछ. But करते time, don't think that you are going to achieve perfection in that. Do that just as a pleasure to Krishna. Because Krishna has said, do karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga, bhakti yoga, we will do that. Am I going to succeed in that? I don't think so. Then why am I doing? Because he told you should do. So I'm doing. Whatever possible I will do to my best of the capacity. But am I hoping to be 100% successful? I'm not. Then what is your hope? Sharanagati. I surrender to him. He only can deliver me. None of these processes. No, so that's why if you see Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, what is the eligibility to go back to Godhead? 8.5 Krishna says Bhagavad Gita. At the time of death, you have to think of Krishna. Correct? At the moment of death, one must think of Krishna. Only then one can go back to Krishna. That is Bhakti Yoga. Now, if you see honestly, even so many great devotees also pass away in coma. Are they thinking of Krishna at that time? No. I mean, technically, medically speaking, their consciousness is switched off. Then what is their hope? Sharanagati. Are you getting it? That is what Prabhupada speaks in the first paragraph of this purport. And he speaks later also this concept. That Sarva Dharman Parityajya means I cannot achieve perfection in all these yoga systems. What Krishna has said is a very great process. So my hope is only surrendering to him. Does that mean that I'm not going to do? No, how is that possible? He has said you must do. So at least I should try, na? How can I say? See, one thing is to say that I'm not going to be successful. Another thing is to say, chalo bhai, waise bhi success nahi hone wala. Karke kya fayda? Sab chhod do yaar. But no, that's not the point. I have to still try. Like if you see Raghunath Swami's journey home, he writes, when he was in Parsana, he met this Sadhu Baba, he had kept one small stick with him at night. So he asked him, why are you keeping it? He says, hey, log bol rahe the ki ek leopard, one leopard is roaming around this forest. So he asked, what is the use of the small stick in front of the leopard? He said, no, see, ultimately Radharani is going to save us, but we have to also show something, that we are also trying. Not that we have completely left it to Radharani to save us. So one stick I have kept, so the Radharani was, no, chalo bhai, these people are also trying. So we will have, don't worry, just sleep. If it comes, we will fight it out. Sadhu also slept peacefully. Maharaj says, I don't know, I was not sure how to sleep peacefully here in this mountain, understanding that a leopard is roaming around here at night. So the point is, Sarva Dharman Parityajya, if you take that meaning also, that means actually give up all dharmas, that is there, one meaning. But in which context it is being said, you need to know. What is the context? The context is, this is all so difficult to achieve perfection in. Okay? So Krishna is saying that, just surrender to me. But that doesn't mean at all that you don't have to do all that. You get it? No, 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 no. If anybody takes that meaning out of it, then you have lost it. You have lost the Gita only. Arey, how can that be the meaning? Correct? So here, Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo is, I will take care of all your shortcomings. Do not fear the yoga systems in general. Don't think all these yoga systems are very difficult. You cannot achieve success. Don't worry. I'm there now for you. This is the third meaning. Okay. There's a fourth meaning as well. Madhvacharya talks and many other acharyas also talk about it. Fourth meaning is, this is a very personal verse Krishna has said to Arjuna. Why personal? Because see, Arjuna, after hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, he still felt very strongly. How can I kill my grandfather and my teacher? Whatever it is. Arjuna was a very person with a very soft heart. He was finding it difficult to accept this proposal itself. Somebody's mobile is ringing. Yeah. Okay, Arjuna was a person of a very soft heart. So he was hearing whole Gita, but he was still feeling, how can I do such an act? Okay, so in fact, if you see the nectar of devotion, Rupa Goswami says that among the 9 processes of bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasharam, Archanam, Vandanam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, the last 2 which are there, Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam, Rupa Goswami says these are very rarely seen and these are for rare people. You understood the point? That means that is not considered for everybody. Like most of us, we cannot consider so easily that, okay, I will do Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam with Krishna. Arey, it's a very rare process. You have to focus on Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, the first ones. Rupa Goswami says Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam are very, very rare processes. So in connection with that, the fourth commentary of this meaning is, it's a very private verse that Krishna told Arjuna. Don't worry. This conception you are having now, Arjuna, that you are going to be responsible for the action of killing Bhishma, Drona, etc. Don't worry about that. You just take shelter of me. I will help you handle these consequences. So here, Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo is meaning, when I kill Bhishma, Drona, I will feel bad, na? Who is going to help me that time? Krishna is saying, I am there now for you. Why are you worrying? I will help you face those consequences. You understood? Krishna is giving that guarantee to Arjuna. Don't fear, Arjuna. Whatever such terrible consequences will come in the war, which are going to come, I am there now with you to handle it. So in that sense, this is considered a very private verse as well. Okay. So I'll just summarize all the 4 and then come with the conclusion. So I gave 4 perspectives to this verse. Why we had to discuss this verse is because many times when we hear this verse, we think Sarvadharma means everything is cancelled out. Okay, so that conception comes. So in order to clarify that, I gave 4 meanings. But all are from various acharyas only. So the first, and many of them are there in Prabhupada's purport also, though you'll have to, only if you read that commentary, you will understand that Prabhupada here is talking about that commentary. Otherwise, one may not easily understand the correspondence between Prabhupada's commentary and previous acharya's commentary. So the first meaning I said is Sarva Dharma Kurvan Parityacha. That means, okay, so that means Sarva Dharma Parityacha doesn't mean he says that, doesn't mean you actually give up everything. What it means, you give up the 3 types of tyagas. The 3 types of tyagas. Kartavya buddhi tyaga, amata tyaga, phala tyaga. Give that. Okay, and dedicate everything to me. Okay, and don't worry. Don't worry here is what? Don't worry about the consequences of the war. First meaning. Okay. Second meaning was Sarva Dharman Parityaja means Sarva Prayaschitta Dharman Parityaja. This is there in the second paragraph of this purport from Baladev Vidyabhushan. That means Arjuna is thinking, Arey bhakti itni badi process hai. I have so much sin. How can I start bhakti also? Should I do some Prayaschitta Dharma? No, you don't need to do anything. बाकी कुछ करने का जरूरत नहीं. Just surrender unto me. I will take care of the cleaning of your sins. Don't fear. Here, don't fear is don't fear the difficulty of bhakti. Third meaning is all the yoga systems only are very, very complicated. Okay, karma yoga, jnana yoga, everything is complicated. How can I achieve success in all this? Sarva Dharma Parityaja. Give up the conception that you are going to achieve success in that. That is Sarva Dharma Parityaja. That means give up the conception that you are going to achieve success in these yoga systems. Okay? Like we are all chanting 16 rounds. If you think that just by our own chanting, even though it is our effort, with this we are going to achieve Krishna Prema, forget it. This is just a small endeavor, like that, stick with us. You understood, no? Chota sa sticky hai, which we are keeping. Okay? So the thing is, to think that I am going to achieve success in these yoga systems, that dharma, that conception, give it up. Just do Sharanagati to me. Whatever at the time of death, you may not be able to remember me. All that I will take care. Do not fear the yoga systems. Here again, the meaning is not that you have to give up the yoga systems. You understood? It is giving up the conception that you are going to achieve success in it. Okay? You may not perfect bhakti yoga. You may not perfect karma yoga. But does it mean I don't do it? No, that's never the point. In none of the meanings, the commentary is that you have to actually give up what has been said till now in Gita. And the fourth meaning was what? I connected it to Rupa Goswami's Nectar of Devotion. That Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam are virala processes. Virala means very rarely found. So this is a very confidential verse also in a way. Where Arjuna is having this very, very deep fear. How can I handle the consequence? When I kill my grandfather and my grandfather is lying dead on the ground, that pain, how will I handle it, Krishna? Arjuna is having that fear. Krishna is saying, don't worry. All these consequences, I am going to help you not to handle. It is like a mother telling a child, sometimes a child has to give an exam, child is very fearful. Right? Arey, what will happen in this exam? I'll give you such a tough exam. I may fail in this exam. I may not get good marks. So what does the mother and father say? They say, Arey beta, don't worry. We are there now for you. We will handle it together. Whatever happens, we will handle it. You understood? It's a confidence-giving verse. Like a mother embraces a child and says, don't worry, beta, I'm there for you. That is the fourth meaning. That's a very confidential meaning. Because we may not be able to imagine that Krishna will do that to us also. Because as I said, Rupa Goswami says, Sharanagati, Atmanivedanam and Sakyam are virala, very rarely seen. These are not something which everybody should treat as if I am at that level of Atmanivedanam that, no. I am at a very much. But the point, my dear friends, is in none of these meanings, you can take the conception that abhi tak jo bhi bola, wo cancel hua. That has not happened in any of these meanings. In all these four meanings, it is very clear that you have to do what you have to do only. Okay. It is a very, very assuring verse in one sense. Okay. And it's certainly one of the most beautiful verses of the Gita. And is most often quoted. Devotees love to recite this verse. But we should not misunderstand this verse. We should not read this verse and think that, nothing is important now. No. That Krishna has not said that at all. Correct? Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Yeah.
So, like here you are explaining about Tyag and Sannyas. So, like earlier we have been hearing like Tyag and Vairagya. So, this Tyag that you are talking about, that seems very close to Vairagya. That what?
Yeah, correct. Tyaga is Vairagya only. See, Vairagya means what? Vairagya is not, see, please remember, in the Gita, Krishna has not defined Vairagya as detachment from action. Krishna has defined Vairagya as detachment from conception of doership, from conception of pleasure to oneself, one conception of fruits for oneself. Understood? Krishna has defined Vairagya in terms of not action. That means this Arjuna is supposed to be Vairagya as a Kshatriya. I need not do only this Kshatriya. Is that the Vairagya Krishna is talking? No. Don't think you're a Kshatriya or you're fighting because you're powerful. I am fighting through you. First thing. Second thing, don't think that this is for your pleasure. This is for my pleasure. Third thing, the victory that you will get from this war, you have to offer it to me. Like that. Yeah? Any other question? Yeah.
When Krishna played
Yes.
that flute, they all left all the activities that they were doing.
Yeah.
So in one sense, they gave up their occupational duties, which they were, and they came up.
Yeah.
So it is part of the material side of their life, because we can't see that they were doing something material in their life.
See, this is the most unfortunate or misunderstood aspect of the gopis' life. If you see in the gopis' life, historically, from the Bhagavatam, Krishna danced with them on 3 nights. 3 बार रासलीला हुआ हमारे scriptures में. Understood? Other than that, the gopis were always engaged in their swadharma only. They were doing karma yoga only. You understood?
No.
It was only on those 3 nights, very specifically, that the gopis so-called gave up everything and came to Krishna to dance when Krishna called. If you are going to take that and imagine that whole life of gopis was like that, you're sadly mistaken. You've not even read the story of the gopis. The gopis, in fact, are the highest, if you see karma yoga perspective or in terms of doing their occupational duty. I mean, what do you... In fact, after all the Rasalila, Krishna tells, come on, go back. Go back to what you are doing in this world. This is over. This bhakti is relished for that short period of time and then you are just sent back. Everyone is like that, not only gopis, Brahmana Patnis, anybody who read in the Bhagavatam. You understood? The Brahmana Patnis left everything and came to Krishna. Krishna said, I accept your offering, I accept your love, but go back. Go back and be engaged. And that's exactly what the gopis also do. You understood the point? But the point is, sometimes we extend that a little too much. To think that as if they gave up everything perpetually. No. They were much more responsible than most people more than anybody in this world in terms of what they were doing. You get it? In fact, Krishna left Vrindavan at the age of 11. The gopis continued to live whole life in Vrindavan only, doing what they were doing. And even when Krishna was there for 11 years, imagine how long was that? What was that Rasalila? How many nights did Krishna call them like that? The Bhagavatam says once, the other 2 scriptures says once or twice also are there like that examples. That's it. So see, bhakti also now, it is something like, at time to time, you may perhaps put everything aside. It is like all of us, we go to a yatra, na? Office chhod ke jate hai. But not that you go there and you're sitting there only like a Babaji. You have to come back. Understood? You come back and get into your own groove, your own routine, your activities, your everything, your seva. Are you getting?
But how can we call it as a karma yoga? Because they were constantly thinking of Krishna and...
No. However you want to look at it, I understand that. It was bhakti, but it had all those aspects also.
In performing their
I'm talking karma yoga from the basic. Karma yoga is also devotional service. Na? Proper translates karma yoga. If you see 3rd chapter also, karma yoga in Sankhyanam, when that verse is there, 3.2, Prabhupada says karma yoga is devotional service only. Because if you are a devotee and doing karma yoga, then that becomes devotional service. But it is karma yoga. Na? Technically it is that. Churning butter, you are cleaning the house, you are milking the cows. What is that? It is not Navavida Bhakti. If you want to technically go into it, what is Bhakti? Bhakti is 9 processes of devotional service or 64 processes that Rupa Goswami says. As Rupa Goswami said in the Nectar of Devotion, doing your occupational duty is bhakti. He has not said that. Technically it is not. Technically it is not. Technically it becomes karma yoga only. What your activity you are doing, technically that becomes karma yoga only.
But because they remember Krishna,
because you are connected to Krishna, it can be counted as devotional service. But that's a different point. But technically it is called karma yoga only. And there is nothing wrong in that. To understand. You get it? Hare Krishna. Any other question? Yeah.
Prabhuji, you gave the 4 perspectives. In that, the first perspective was from Sridhar Swami, or
the first was Ramanuja.
First one was because Ramanuja is 3rd one, which you said.
3rd also is his only.
Okay, and 4th one.
But others also have quoted it. See what has happened. Ramanuja's Bhagavad Gita was the original Bhagavad Gita commentary. That's why same things are there in others also.
Okay.
So it's not there, it's not there. But it all comes to that.
Yes.
So Vishnu Chakravarti also talks about the 3rd one.
Okay.
That giving up actually everything.
Yes.
And just take Sharanagati of Krishna. That means don't think that you are going to achieve perfection in any of those systems.
Yes. And the 4th one, which you mentioned one more name, Prabhuji, Madhvacharya and
Yeah, I said Madhva. It's one of the Madhva commentaries, but more importantly, it is there in our Gaudiya concept also. The concept that Sharanagati is a virala bhava. Virala means very rarely achieved thing.
Yes.
That means, see, you can practice Shravanam Kirtanam.
Hmm.
How will you practice Sharanagati? That's a very deep thing, na? You have to be there. Krishna has to accept you, na, as a Sakya. How can you I will practice Sakyam Prabhuji from tomorrow? Shravanam Kirtanam. Sakyam करेंगे. हम भगवान का friend है हम लोग.
Similarly,
No,
Atma.
yeah. So Sakyam and Atmanvedana is more confidential than Sakyam. So it's increasing actually if you see.
Yes.
और जो processes है ना,
Yes.
very very tough. It's not easy.
Okay.
So the thing why that commentary is said is in order to tell you that don't think Sharanagati to be something very cheap. Don't think that you are already there. ये सब कुछ important नहीं है तुम्हारे लिए गीता. Because sometimes people feel like that. That whatever has been said in the Gita from first verse to 18.65 मेरे लिए नहीं मैं तो शरणागत बोलता हूँ. अरे बाबा, what are you talking, man? You got it?
Yes, Prabhupada in some of the Bhagavad Gita initial lectures, he says about this, that this is not different from what actually is Krishna consciousness. People differentiate between that. Like this is different part and the Ras Leela, which is very confidential, it is different part. People think that is actually Bhakti, but this is also similar to that only. Prabhupada says in the initial lectures of Bhagavad
This means what?
Gita, like what you said, Karma Yoga and all.
Yeah, of course. Yes, certainly. Why not? Yeah, it is.
And one more question I had, like regarding this currently political situation is there, and whatever we face in our daily life, like whatever political situation of the state or riots वगैरह going on, some cases on ISKCON also people doing. So how we can like keep steady about
See,
what
that's
is
why
it?
dharma is important. See, please try to understand. When Krishna says in 4.8, Dharma samstharpanartaya sambhavami yuge.
Yuge.
What is the dharma he is coming for? Primarily, at the external level, it is political stability.
Yes.
Do you know that? It is for political stability that Krishna comes. Whenever he comes, he restores everything. यासुर लोग को मार देते, अच्छा government रखते, चले जाते भगवान.
Yes.
Because that is very important. Without a proper government in place, which is at least allowing you to do your dharma, you cannot do anything. Now, for example, if you see Bangladesh or you see some countries, it's very difficult to practice anything.
Yes.
Because I'm in touch with some friends in Bangladesh. It's very difficult for them because there is no dharma, there is no righteous rule.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So that is why political stability is in one sense is the whole goal of Gita. If you see it like that.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
Krishna has told all this because he was thinking, what is Arjuna is running away from the battlefield? If the Pandavas are not going to rule, who's going to rule? Duryodhana? What an example to the world this is. See, please remember, Krishna doesn't come only to showcase the exalted nature of Bhakti Yoga, which he does in Vrindavan for 11 years. You see, Krishna's 125 years. 11 years he was in Vrindavan. What was he doing there? Only love. Prem ka adan pradan.
Yes.
Bas, har ek ke sath. With the Gopas, Gopis, everything is exchanging love. 11 years he comes out of Vrindavan. Then remaining 116 years, 14 years, what is Krishna doing? Full politics.
Politics.
Coming to Mathura, killing Kamsa, killing Jarasandha, taking to Dwaraka, establishing a kingdom, killing that Jarasandha, uske sab log, फिर इतना सब कितना continuous war only. Because that is the world. You have to keep fighting against adharmic forces in various ways.
Yes.
Otherwise, you cannot practice anything without that political and social stability. You cannot live in this world peacefully. We cannot have a Bhagavatam class like this.
Yes. One may lose faith also. Like it may happen. Like if some adverse situations are there, it may happen that one may lose faith also. Like what is this?
One will not be able to survive only, I'm saying. You will not be able to do anything. Just like people say in Marathi, there is a saying, if Shivaji Maharaj was not there, none of us would be here. We all become Muslim already. Katna ho gaya hota hamara abhi tak. Because Shivaji Maharaj came, he established the Hinduvi Swarajya. That's why we are sitting here. Maharashtra was gone in that time. ऐसे राजा लोग आए बीच बीच में इसलिए सर्वाइव हुआ सनातन धर्म. ये तो खत्म ही हो जाता. And once you give up your dharma, to come back is almost impossible. Now look at all the fellows in Pakistan, Afghanistan, all these people. They are all coming from Sanatan Dharma only, their ancestors. Can they even connect to it? That's why dharma is important. Yeah. Hare Krishna. I think done. Another question?
In the last answer that you give, it's not very much related to philosophy, but like we have certain movies like Shambhaji Maharaj का भी एक movie आया है, शिवाजी के movies. So is it like good practice to see those movies or ठीक है अभी डिवोटी है तो नहीं देखना चाहिए movie, but this kind of movies.
There has to be historical awareness. See, whether you see the movie or read the book or whatever, there are many ways, but there has to be political awareness in people, in society. There has to be an awareness of what saved, what mistakes, people did in the past. This has to be widespread. See, this is dharma. This has to be widespread. Okay. Movie is one way of knowing. Generally, reading, hearing the stories is also another way. Whatever it is, one should be aware. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, question नहीं करेंगे. ठीक है, we'll take it offline. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, और भगवद गीता की जय।